Rogers had a young daughter whose name was Mariah. They named the street and the bridge after his youngest daughter. It's called the Mariah Street Bridge. During the summertime, with a tremendous number of pleasure craft that travel along here, this bridge will sometimes swing 2, 3, 4, even 5 times an hour, tying up traffic in both directions for an awfully long distance.
The 100th anniversary of the Peterborough liftlock is brought to you from a distance. The Peterborough liftlock looks awesome. It was considered revolutionary when construction began over 100 years ago and remains to this day a bold concept. Hello, I'm Graham Hart. Although the Trent Severn Waterway is now described as a recreational paradise, it was agriculture and logging that actually created the need for a waterway in the first place. Early settlers thought that an inland waterway would speed up transportation of their lumber and agricultural products to markets in Toronto and beyond. The development of a commercial waterway offered city dwellers new adventures into the Kawartha Lakes as steamboats cruised the calm waters, allowing passengers to step off the boat for delicious shore dinners in isolated clearings on the calm, crystal clear waters of Lake Kachewanuka, Clear Lake, and Stony Lake, with over 1,000 islands to choose from. It was the arrival of the motor car and train service to Peterborough, Lindsay, and Lakefield that forced the steamboat to give way to recreational boating. Now vacationers can enjoy the wonderful scenery along the Trent Severn Waterway by day, and then in the evening relax at one of the wide variety of marvelous resorts found along its route. But commercial and ultimately recreational use of the waterway really started right here in Bobcaygeon, Ontario, with the building of a small wooden lock in 1833. Bobcaygeon thrived with the increased development of lumber, cattle breeding, and agricultural industries. The Kawartha Dairy is now the only one of the original industries remaining in the area. Peterborough, Ontario, the Electric City, is also located on this 386-kilometer-long waterway and was the first city in Canada to light its streets with electricity. And although the nickname did not come from the early development and production of Canadian General Electric, the first water-wheel-driven electric generator in Canada did, and it was built here at the Peterborough plant in the early 1900s. Established in July of 1892, CGE combined Edison General Electric, Edison Electric Light, Thomas Houston International Electric, and Toronto Construction and Electric Supply. During its proud history, CGE Peterborough produced 5 475 million watt generators for the huge Churchill Falls Hydro Project, and generators for the Grand Coulee Dam project in the United States. Peterborough is also home of the Canadian Canoe Museum, holder of the world's largest collection, with more than 600 canoes and kayaks and 1,000 related artifacts. Designated a National Historic Site, the Peterborough Liftlock, now 100 years old, is a magnificent engineering feat and is the highest hydraulic liftlock of its kind in the world. Building the liftlock was no easy task. The excavation alone took almost 3 years to complete. Long before any concrete could be poured, 58,000 cubic meters of soil had to be removed to reach the limestone bedrock that would act as the foundation for the 10 tons of granite blocks that would form the base for the structure to come. It was, to say the least, a gargantuan undertaking, and weather would play an enormous role in the construction equation. At times, work slowed almost to a standstill during and after a rainfall. A steam shovel and steam locomotives to haul dump cars filled with excavated material made the job a little easier. But in the final analysis, it was the workers with hand shovels, often in dreadful conditions, who were responsible for the lion's share of the earth removal process. Keeping the pit dry became an almost impossible task. Workers had sometimes to wade through knee-deep mud in the seemingly never-ending process of loading dump car after dump car by hand. Finally, with the limestone bedrock now exposed, the granite blocks were put into place as a foundation for the giant rams and water-filled chambers. In the early days prior to construction of the Peterborough lift lock, it would have taken several conventional locks an hour or longer to lower boats the required distance, compared with the only 10 to 12 minutes it takes today. So it was decided a lift lock, rather than several conventional locks of the time, should be built to overcome the 19.8 meter drop north of Little Lake at Armour Hill. The excavation and concrete operation took approximately 6 years to complete, 3 times as long as planned. Due to a general inexperience in the development of such a project, new and often untried approaches had to be considered in an effort to overcome the many obstacles and challenges presented not only by the weather and the difficult terrain, but by the sheer enormity of the project.